Exercise is one of the few things for which there's very little ambiguity, and that you can't say that about much in human biology. You can certainly say that about a lot, and I hope to have written about all of the things for which we have, low ambiguity about the benefit. So high signal to noise ratio areas, but there might be none that compare to exercise. The benefits of exercise, they really can't be overstated. And when you talk about it, I think people sort of drone on and think, yeah, of course, exercise is valuable. What I don't think people appreciate is the magnitude of the value. And I think people understand the magnitude of the detriment that comes with something like smoking, right? I think everybody understands that, hey, if you smoke, your risk of lung cancer is 10 times higher than a non-smoker. People get that. It probably wouldn't surprise people to know that if you're a smoker, your risk of dying in any given year is 40% higher than a non-smoker. If you have type 2 diabetes, your risk of dying in any given year is about 25% higher than someone without. So all of those things I think are pretty obvious. When you start to do that same type of analysis on fitness or on strength, the numbers are even more impressive. In other words, if you take people who are very strong and you compare them to people who are not, so for example, if you compare the top 20% of strength in a given age and sex bracket to the bottom 20% of strength, you're talking about a 2.5 to 3-fold difference. That's 150 to 200% difference in all-cause mortality at any point in time. When you do the same type of analysis with peak cardiorespiratory fitness, if you just compare the least fit 25% to, say, the middle quartile, the 50th to 75th percentile. So we're not comparing people that are so dramatically different, but just that distinction, that's about 100% difference in all-cause mortality. So whether you're talking about cardio fitness, whether you're talking about strength training, the difference in how long you live is unparalleled by any other intervention, good or bad, that we have. And then that says nothing about the impact that those things have on your quality of life. I always say this to patients, half jokingly, but quite seriously, if all this exercise didn't lengthen your life by 1 minute, it would still be worth it in terms of the quality it brings in that final decade of your life. For a person who has never done anything before, I would typically recommend they start on machines. Machines are safer, the range of motion is predetermined, and truthfully, because they're so deconditioned, they're going to respond to virtually anything that they do. Contrary to popular belief, they don't need to hammer, they don't need to be sore, they don't need to feel like their arms and legs are being ripped off their body. So the goal is basically really simple programming and advancing as their level of skill and frankly their confidence comes with it. The goal here is just to get in the gym and just to do something and to sort of develop a sense of routine around this. I think our kids today are probably facing more and more impediments to just being active, right? There's more distraction, there's more reasons to sit in front of an iPad or a TV, and just setting an example for them. It's probably a lot less what you say and more what you do. So if they see that mom and dad are exercising a lot, well, then it becomes kind of the norm. If they see that mom and dad are cooking, well, then it becomes part of the norm. If they see that mom and dad talk about food in a manner that pertains to health more than body weight, then that becomes normal. All of these things, I think are subtle cues that get picked up. And I think those are kind of the things that maybe I'd focus on.